Okay, this video is to show you how to check for multiple correct answers for student spreadsheets. So say this is this worksheet that you've set for the students, and they're going to answer this question and they put 10. Well, this one automatically checks that the answer might be correct, but the units aren't there, so it says don't forget the units. If they were to get the answer completely wrong, say they put 5, it would just say try again. If they put 10 and they decided, oh yeah, I need to put units, and they put feet, just like that, FT with no space, it counts it correct. Well, what if we go back and say, well, this person put 10 and then they put a space and they put FT? It still counts it correct. What if they said 10 space and then they spelled out feet? It still counts it correct. The reason all of this happens is because of all of this that I've hidden here. I've put different options. These are 4 different answer options that I will accept as correct, and you can go even further by putting more than these, but I've just put 4 because I think that's enough for my use. But then I've also put this column that says answer with no units. So 10 will give it a specific response of check for units. The way I do that is by doing exactly what I have down here in this green cell. So I've just put the text down there so you could study that while I actually show you some more variances of this. So again, this is an equilateral triangle that have sides that are 3 inches in measurement. So the answer should be 9 inches, but they might put 9 and then inches with no space. 9, they could put an inch, inches abbreviated with a space, and 9 abbreviated with no space. And then the number 9 would just result in the don't forget the units response. So now I'll put 9 and you'll see that it says don't forget the units. But if I put any of those variances of the correct answer, it will say it's correct. So let me build one that's a little bit different. This one that says, what's the first letter of the alphabet? Well, the only answer is A. So I need to put A in all of these. And it doesn't matter if you put A in lowercase or A in uppercase or anything like that, but you just need to go ahead and put A in all of these. And then this one can stay blank. And notice on this one, I don't have this first part that says don't forget the units. I just have the bulk of it that checks if C4, which is this cell, the student answer, equals D4, E4, F4, or G4. And it doesn't regard H4 at all. Now this one says, what represents that letter in the military alphabet? Well, the answer would be alpha. And that's the only option, so I'm going to put alpha on all of these. And again, case doesn't matter. But then I'm going to say, what if they put A? And I'm going to say in this part, instead of saying check for the units, I'm going to say, I'm just going to change that to, it's a word that starts with A. Like down here, it says don't forget the units. I just put the words don't forget, or I put it's a word that starts with A there. And then everything else is the same. And again, the row 2 is changed to row 5 on this one because I'm in row 5, but the columns stay the same. So now if they put A as the answer, it's going to say it's a word that starts with A. Then if they put apple, it's going to say try again. And then they put alpha, and it'll say it's correct. What if you have a situation here that you want to say it's a word that's like, what's the first president of the United States? Well, you want them to say George Washington. And that's the answer you want to stay consistent. You don't want to accept Washington. And you want it to say, instead of saying don't forget the units, you want it to say don't forget his first name. So you're going to say, let me coach you this way. Put equals And let's not worry about the front part. Let's just say if, or, that's the trick here, is the if or statement. And then you're going to say all the answers that are correct. If C6 equals D6, you can type this, or you can just click the cells like I'm doing. Or the comma is the next operator. It's going to say, what other things do you want me to check for? Well, if C6 equals E6, comma. If C6 equals F6, comma. If C6 equals G6. And what are you going to tell it to do? You're going to say, well, if it's true, I want you to say correct. And I'm going to put an exclamation mark. But if it's not true, I want you to say try again. And then I'm going to end my parentheses. So now it's going to say try again because my answer was X. Now, what if my answer is Washington? Well, now I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to add that first part that's going to be another if statement. I'm going to open my parentheses, and this I'm going to say if C6 equals H6, that's the word Washington. Then I want to say, don't forget his first name. And then I'm going to end the quotes. I'm going to put the comma that says, do this other stuff. If it's not true, that means if they didn't just put George, or if they didn't just put Washington, and they actually put more than that, or something else other than Washington, it'll check for George Washington here. Now I need to go to the end and end my parentheses, hit enter, and now I can check to say, well, if they just put Washington, it'll say don't forget his first name. So that's how you do it. You can practice on this cell. On this one, if I put Lincoln, I'll do the same thing as I did for Washington. And again, this is the formula you're going to try. And then after you're done, you will hide these cells. And then you will say that these cells, and let me show you how to protect your sheet if you don't know how to do that. You will go to Data, Protect Sheets, because you don't want the kids to unhide that. So you're going to hit Sheet, you're going to protect the whole sheet except certain cells, and you're going to say they can edit C2 to C7. And that's it. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to set my permissions. I'm going to say only me. I'm the only person that could edit that. And I'm going to hit done. And then I can close this. Now, when the students get in here, they can only edit what's in here. I'm going to clear those out. And if you want to put the X's, you can do that. And it's only going to check for those right answers, and it'll give it feedback. And again, I didn't do anything in this last cell. The last one I did was George Washington. That's why this one is here. All right, good luck. And if you need to reach out, contact us through Twitter, and we will get back to you. Thanks.